Hey guys, what's up? Today we'll be discussing the Texas primary election and why the poll results are fucked. But first of all, let me tell you about the average poll results. They're bouncing all over the place for the Dem primary. We got Crockett plus 14, Crockett plus 12, Talarico plus 6. And then we're seeing headlines about record high turnout. If you look at a turnout map for the website about who voted and when, early turnout is highest in the Rio Grande and South Texas ranch counties, all Talarico strongholds. Crockett is a progressive, but her main problem is that she's an urban liberal, if that makes sense. So the electorate in Texas is very complicated. You've got the South Texas and Rio Grande Valley Latino Dems, culturally conservative-ish, peel-offable, but economically left. You've got the urbanite Dems, very progressive-leaning. You've got the swing moderates, kind of, in the suburbs, who vote based on cultural familiarity. They will go for Talarico. And turnout in Dallas and similar cities like Houston is more or less flat compared to last year. But we got 190% of last year's turnout by now. And places like Hidalgo County, along the Rio Grande Valley, all are seeing record high turnout. All of which is good for Talarico. And some of the left-ish suburbs are also up, which is kind of good because that's another sign for Talarico. The other problem with the Crockett campaign is I analyze these like I analyze everything else, usually devoid of emotion. So here's the thing. She's an urban liberal, right? She doesn't feel culturally familiar to the Latino voters you need to win the election. She doesn't give off cultural Christian with faith vibes, which you need to win a lot of the South Texas area. I mean, she was a good member of the House because, well, she triggered the right and she got a lot of news attention, but her district was nuked by the Republicans in an act of cheating. But now, logically, the logical thing to do is to move to a safe district as close as possible. And the thing about the Senate race is this is going to be a hard uphill battle regardless. Now, the Dems could win Texas because, keep in mind, Beto got insanely close, and if it wasn't for his hell yeah, we're going to oppose your AR-15, we're going to take your AR-15, she probably would have. But that pissed off conservative Latinos in the Rio Grande Valley because you try stopping a feral pig with a 7-round magazine. So it's going to be a hard battle to begin with, even against Cornyn, the guy who is so bland that most people don't even fucking know his name, and might lose to fucking Paxton, who is kind of weak as an AG. But let's step aside for a second. So, she's an urban liberal, that doesn't help. She's seen as terminally online, but not in a good way. Name recognition is high, but again, it's not that she scares moderates, it's that moderates don't connect with her, if that makes sense. Also, she's a black woman in Texas. That doesn't help matters. And all of that means that she is almost the underdog, if that makes sense. And even as a progressive, I don't really get that excited for her, which is probably not exactly good for her chance of winning this. Now, the polls are bouncing everywhere because, well, people have stopped responding to polls. they're conducted using outdated methods, and turnout modeling is hard for primaries. For the most part, modeling primaries is almost never worth the effort, because the results are completely unpredictable. Turnout is either low, or whoever wins the primary is irrelevant unless it involves a special election replacing a critical seat. So I only really care about primaries in the sense that if it determines control of Congress, if I have an ideological side on this, if I actually care regardless. But with this one, Talarico might be the man to win Texas. And my gut feeling on this is that a lot of the pollsters are misreading the data. And my gut feeling is that in a two-way horse race, I would say that it's probably not going to be a Crockett win. And that's okay. Even as a progressive, she was more focused on being online and scoring points than actually winning, if that makes sense. And Talarico's familiar. He's a white guy who's a Christian and who speaks in religious language. And he doesn't scare the secular voters. He is the guy who's going to win. But we'll know later tonight. So anywho, like, comment, and subscribe. Have a great day, guys.